Hello and welcome to another astrology forecast. Today I'll be speaking about the full moon in Sagittarius that we have today, 11th of June, occurring at 20 degrees 39 minutes of the sign Sagittarius, and we do have a fiery time. Now, the most poignant thing to speak about this full moon is the fact that we are in a grand square or grand cross configuration with the nodes of fate, which are at 23 degrees of Pisces and Virgo. These two are squaring the sun-moon opposition, forming the full moon and the sun there in Gemini. So this is a crossing of the ways. This is an intersection of friction, and normally squares to the nodes in general, they kind of indicate a piece that's missing or something that needs to be filled in. And with the south node, it's what needs to be let go of. And with the north node, it's to be able to move towards something. Now, the full moon here in Sagittarius is highlighting the need for expansion, the need for even adventure, exploration. Now, this can be physical, as in travel, or metaphysical in the realms within your knowledge, your study, philosophy, anything that you're interested in, that you're learning. Sagittarius rules higher education, and it is also known as a sign associated with religion and, most importantly, belief systems. So there is something here at this full moon being illuminated to do with your belief systems, what you truly believe. And the sun in opposition to this moon is highlighting where perhaps these inner belief systems are coming from. And because it's the moon here, the moon is the emotions, the moon is the history and your memories. This can be perhaps, with this crossing of the ways here with the nodes, this could be perhaps a sense of, what do I need to let go of? What do I need to let go of in terms of my belief systems? And this is a real shifting of perspectives here. With these 4 points on the mutable axis highlighted and triggered by this full moon, there is a need to shift. There is a need to change perspective. With the south node here, it's what do I need to release and let go of and let drain away? In the sign of Virgo, this is about any sense of unhealthiness. Now, this can be physical unhealthiness. This can be the things in your daily life that lead towards a mental unhealthiness. Now, this, because it's connected in a square to the sun in Gemini, which is the mind, the mental processes and how you communicate, there is something that we are needing to let go of in terms of mentality, unhealthy mentalities. And then with the corresponding square to that moon, the full moon in Sagittarius, something about inner belief systems that is really having to drain away for us to gain some kind of a perspective here in what is actually good for me. Are these belief systems serving me and serving my higher good? With that square to the north node there in Pisces, Pisces the higher good. Is my mentality serving my higher good? Now, this is mutable energy. This is very strong, shifting, changeable, malleable, fluid, flexible, mutable energy. So there is, even though we are in a cross or a grand square, this square, I'm just getting the image of a diamond that can rotate, that has many facets. It might still be cut in a square, but the light glints off it in all different ways. And this is what we can be experiencing at this time with the crossing of the nodes here, because the sun will go on to perfect its square to the nodal axis in a few days. And it's already in play here at this full moon. So what's being illuminated here in this ongoing process of a square to the nodes is, how can I look at this differently? How can I shift my perspective in a way that enables me to settle more truly into my well-being and my emotional needs because, again, it's the full moon. The moon is the needs, the moon is the emotions. And being able to embody those needs in a way that is really feeding a sense of excitement because Sagittarius is ebullient, enthusiastic. It's a very positive leaning sign. There could be a sense here of now maybe being able to see of what you need to let go of, whatever this is for you, because this is an illumination here at the full moon, a sense of now knowing what you need to let go of to really quite tap into a sense of emotional excitement about something that you're moving towards. And yes, it can be challenging. There can be friction here with the square to the nodes, but the nodes they're kind of gateways, the gate that leads in and the gate that leads out. You've got two gateways here and you can choose which one to go through. There's no right or wrong. Everyone is on their own path, moving through their own lessons. But the gates here that you have to choose from, it's like maybe now you can actually see them all, whereas before perhaps you couldn't. And there is some sort of a dance here where you're needing to step here and step there and shift this and move that and squint at that in a different angle and think, maybe I could do this instead. Would it be so bad? Just try it, just give it a go. And the North Node in Pisces is calling you home. I'm just getting it's calling you home. Pisces is your higher good, your higher understanding, your sense of unity consciousness, and it is unconditional love or the pursuit of unconditional love. Because us in our human states, of course, unconditionality can be a rather abstract and untenable concept that we can't really genuinely embody in a lot of aspects of our life. But that pursuit of unconditionality in terms of love, all-encompassing love, love for self, love for others, love for the world, the sense that love is the highest force, and the sense that we are all connected. We're being called here, if this resonates with you on whatever level, we're being called here to get excited about this, to feel safe, because it's the moon, it's the full moon, to feel safe in a sense of excitement, to feel safe in a sense of looking at things differently and it being okay. It's okay to look at things differently. Sagittarius can be a little bit of a risk taker, a bit of a maverick. I'm feeling with these squares kind of putting reins on this impetuous sort of reckless Sagittarius energy, not necessarily holding it back, but just being able to put enough pressure on either side to be able to take a calculated risk, or being able to, yes, go for something that might make you feel a bit nervous, but going for it in a way that you know is practical, because we do have the Virgo influence here with the South Node. Maybe seeing a way to do that in a way that does serve your highest good. And with this strong ongoing Gemini energy that we've been having throughout Gemini season, the sun here in Gemini really squaring these nodes and opposing the moon to make it the full moon. Maybe it's about getting out of your own head. That's a big one. Getting out of your own head and shifting mentality. Now that sounds very easy when I say it. Of course, it's easier said than done. You don't have to shift mentality and be like, okay, I'm only thinking this way now. Just give it a try. Shift mentality for a day, for an hour, and maybe pay a bit more attention to the self stories that you're telling yourself and that you're telling others. And maybe this could be an illumination here of subconsciously in your emotional worlds, in your emotional belief systems that you've been conditioned and building on your entire life with the moon in Sagittarius there, where these self stories are coming from. There is an overall shifting of belief here on whatever level at the time of this full moon and ongoing, because of course the sun then goes on to square the nodes in a few days' time. And the other thing that we have here that's very fiery, very inspiring, and also very hopeful is that we actually have a grand fire trine involving this full moon to Mars in Leo and Chiron in Aries. And we also have in Aries, Eris as well, still in orb of a conjunction to that Chiron. So we have these 3 points in fire all joining. We've got the full moon in fiery, blazing, impetuous, and even reckless Sagittarius that wants to broaden the horizons, that wants to explore, to learn, to philosophize, to explore belief systems, and most of all, to be positive, to have fun. Trining this Mars in Leo, which is the leader, which wants to lead with a creative force, which wants to be generous and warm. Trining this identity wound here with Chiron in Aries. So there could be now a sense of courage and even leadership, even being able to take the reins a bit more on any healing journey you've been through in terms of who am I, what am I doing here, what is my identity, and any hits, any ego hits or identity hits you've been experiencing or you've been moving through or that you've been healing. There's a sense of positivity and hope here. Sagittarius does bring hope. And there's also a sense of courage and being able to take the lead with that Mars in Leo there, really feeding into it. Of course, Eris in the mix. Yes, Eris is the goddess of discord. Yes, she shows where there is strife. She shows where there is disharmony. But she's in a trine aspect here, a grand fire trine, which is a positive configuration. And it's almost like being able to move through the disharmony, acknowledging that it's there without being overwhelmed by it. And she does actually add a fair amount of spice to any configuration. And it's very much warrior lady energy, boss lady energy, causing havoc just by being who you are. And is that really chaos? Being who you are despite what others think, being who you are and upsetting the apple cart can be being in service to others to show them where they are out of balance, because clearly something in you may be triggering them. And there is a kind of a settling kind of an energy here in this grand fire configuration, in being okay with that. Not being okay with hurting people or upsetting them, but just being okay with the fact that maybe now you can be who you are. Now you can take the reins on who you are. And if people don't like it, then tough. You know, we're all sovereign beings here. And this could be through some kind of, with the full moon here, shift in perspective or realizations around any belief systems here. Any belief systems, especially long-standing historical, internal, emotional, with the moon, belief systems that are now being shifted and overturned around not feeling free or not feeling sovereign enough to be who you really are, or to go for what you really want, or even to hope, the right to hope for things to get better. But Sagittarius is about hope. And sometimes in life, when we have Sagittarius in difficult aspect, there can be some kind of hindrance to hope and to being positive, or feeling the right to be happy, feeling the right to be positive, or to hope that things will get better. And with this grand fire configuration in the background, it's sort of helping us through this, whether that be to learn more, to explore more, to be more, to see more, to do more. this grand fire trine working through the background is really feeding into the illumination we're experiencing at this time. It's feeding a sense of creative potency in just being who you are. Now, the fascinating thing about this full moon is that it is in mutual reception with its ruler. So the moon is in Sagittarius. The ruler of Sagittarius is Jupiter. Jupiter is in Cancer. The moon rules Cancer. They are in each other's signs. So there is some kind of a like a feedback loop. Jupiter in Cancer, as I said, it's really exploring the sense of what do I need? What are my emotions? How do I feel safe? How do I feel I belong? A sense of heritage, home, family, history, and roots really being brought to the surface here. And Cancer and Sagittarius are not exactly the most similar of signs. They are actually signs that are in conjunct. So they have absolutely nothing whatsoever in common. One is yin, one is yang, one is fire, one is water. They have nothing in common at all. They're very, very different. So it's very interesting that we have this mutual reception here. And this exploration of emotions is really mirrored with Jupiter in Cancer and the moon in Sagittarius. And so there's a very strong supportive energy here of some, I'm just getting the words shifting of home. And I don't mean physical home, it's your sense of home, it's your sense of belonging. And this, of course, with the strong Sagittarian energy, it's based on your belief systems. Where do you believe your home is and why? How do you feel comfortable and how do you feel settled in how you belong? And where does that come from? This is an exploration here. There's some kind of an illumination here. And family history could be really coming to the fore, especially with Jupiter now moved into Cancer for good, but also especially at this full moon as well. So any kind of communication with family members, elders, exploring family history, that could be a really interesting thing to do at this time. And also for the year ahead that we have with Jupiter in Cancer as well. So it's a very interesting interplay of energies that we have here. Now, just moving to the tarot, I'm again using the Tarot for All Ages by Elizabeth Hadel, and I also pulled an oracle card from the Fairy Tale Oracle by Kate Forsyth and Merle Hunt. Now, the tarot cards that I pulled are the Nine of Pentacles and the Justice card. Now, the Nine of Pentacles is actually associated with the sign of Virgo. So there's strong South Node in Virgo energy coming through for me here. But the other thing that I find interesting is that this figure in the Nine of Pentacles is holding an apple. An apple, I just get the image of learning, school, the apple of my eye, an apple on a teacher's desk, an apple being a symbol of knowledge, biblically speaking, forbidden knowledge, but knowledge as a whole. And the Nine of Pentacles is about material autonomy, material independence, material sovereignty, the self-made and an assurance of being self-made and strong in being self-made and abundant. Now, this figure looks very rich. They have a rich cloak. They have fancy little shoes. They've got a giant peacock feather poking out of the hat. Very Sagittarius and over the top. Very regal and Jupiter. Really tying into the full moon themes here. And the fact that this figure kind of looks, I don't know, semi-scholarly with the glasses and holding the apple here. It's about knowledge. And maybe there is a shifting of perspective in your sense of knowing how to feel assured in your life materially. And of knowing how to come by maybe new belief systems and how to build on that. And this is generally a pretty positive card in terms of enjoying what you have, enjoying the fruits of your labor and the hard work that you've put in to have the nice things in your life that you want. And yes, there may be a little bit of ego or show or razzle dazzle here because of this peacock feather. But the peacock feather for me is also sort of a symbol of sovereignty because the peacock was one of the animals of Queen of Heaven, ancient Greek goddess Juno or Hera. And so there could be a sense here of this is who I am, this is what I've made, and I'm proud of it and I'm going to enjoy it. And not feeling ashamed around that. And having the right to be positive and having the right to be hopeful for a good future. And we have on the other side here justice. Now, I've said a few times, especially with this Grand Cross configuration, about a balancing and a realignment. So here, again, it's interesting. We have another peacock feather. So, of course, there's the ancient myth of the ancient Egyptians of going down to the underworld and having your heart placed on the scales and being weighed against a feather to see if your heart is worthy and if you are able to enter the underworld whole. Now, the peacock feather, I just find very significant here. It's almost like a weighing of the ego because the peacock is a very flamboyant, almost a very masculine, showy animal. And it's a weighing up of the mind and the intellect because the feather is also, part of a bird, birds fly, symbol of air, intellect, the mind. And we have, of course, the sun in the sign of Gemini, which is all about mind mentality. And speaking of having a healthy mentality, it's that ego consciousness really weighing up against the heart here. Now, there is a balancing of the inner heart and of the emotions and the needs, and perhaps your ideas and your ideals and the belief systems around where you think you should be. And the Justice card is about you get out what you put in and of a balancing. And maybe this is what you're looking for at this time, a balancing of the scales and a sense of rightness, of being right in who you are, and a realignment, a readjustment, and that shift in perspective of heart versus mind, and also of doing the right thing by yourself, which is a very strong theme at this time because justice is a major arcana card which speaks of bigger themes, bigger life themes. So this is where we balance the check. This is where we're weighing the options and saying, this is right for me, this is not right for me, this is healthy, and this is no longer healthy. And doing the right thing for yourself and by yourself. Now, I thought I would just pull a fairy tale oracle card because we're in Gemini season, and fairy tales are based off myths, which is a very Sagittarian kind of theme. And the card that I pulled is one of the Rapunzel cards, which is the ladder of hair. And here we have the word spiritual ascension. Now, this is the North Node in Pisces. So we can see here Rapunzel letting her beautiful hair down the tower. And hair is a symbol of virility, potency, fertility, and of the vital life force, symbolically speaking, especially within fairy tales. And it's kind of like the pride and joy. And here in this picture, Rapunzel doesn't really look like she's enjoying that at the moment. She looks like she's either very deep in painful contemplation or she could even be in physical pain. Of course, if someone's climbing up the hair, it could be pulling on her and she could be in actual pain. The point is that this thing that she's growing that is so lush and so beautiful and so fertile. Look at all of the flowers and the beautiful moths blossoming out of her hair. It's like this process that we're moving through. This card's just reminding us, it's reminding me that the process that we're moving through to shift perspective, to change belief systems, to realign towards our higher good and build on your spiritual knowing, energetic knowing, frequency knowing, whatever this is for you. It's not jolly easy. It can be very painful and confronting at times. And it can take all of the inner essence of your being to get through this, to be able to climb and keep climbing and keep on hoping, keep on remaining positive. And also, this could be a nod too to the fact that sometimes Sagittarius can be very glossing over of the difficult things in life and being overly positive or toxically positive. It's just that nice, or maybe not so nice, validating even reminder that, we know this isn't an easy process. And when you're having shifting sands beneath your feet and not knowing which way to go, maybe having a bit of difficulty in choosing which option, which gateway to move through, it's not easy. But the Justice card here is just a reminder to remain balanced in your heart, even maybe step back to get a little piece of objectivity to have a look at the situation that you're in, the things that you're moving through, to be able to center, to be able to move forward, holding on to hope, even if this process is not easy. So thank you so much for listening to that full moon forecast that we have today, the 11th of June, in the sign of Sagittarius. I hope you have a wonderful full moon. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you in my next video.